right here.
Garlic's going in with the onions and the olive oil.
Right.
And gonna get that till it's just a little fragrant.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna put these fire roasted diced tomatoes in there.
What you making? Let them know what you're making.
Spaghetti, really spaghetti marinara sauce. And it's gonna go in the pepperoni lasagna that I'm making. Fire roasted tomatoes.
So how many cans should you have with?
6.
6 cans.
6 cans.
To feed about how many?
Oh, this'll feed 15 people.
15 people right there. Searing right there. Y'all hear the shh.
You can use it for spaghetti, you can use it for lasagna, and sauce. You can use it for a lot of different things.
Alright.
Pizza.
So should you pour it all in at once and have it all open, or
If
like
you get it all open, then I'll pour it all in.
Alright, right. That's what it is. So everything, you get everything open. You just crack everything open.
Yep.
So do you like that? You like that tool? The
can opener?
Yeah. That's the.
That's what I like.
Quick to get it open.
Yeah. The best kind to use on this instead of just regular. Get a little more flavor.
Alright.
To it, and I don't like it to be too runny. So the last 2 cans, I kind of drain out a little bit. I don't like it.
That's on the last 2 cans?
Yeah.
Yup.
But if you like it a little more runny, then you don't have to do that. Stir that in. And this is going to simmer for about 30 minutes. And we're going to come back and we're going to put some fresh basil and fresh oregano. And let it simmer for another 30 minutes. And then we will put it in the food processor.
Which will be the...
And then we will start making the lasagna part.
Okay, right there. So how long this is gonna sit like this?
30 minutes.
30 minutes, untouched. Just let it do what it do.
Sauce marinate for 30 minutes. Now we got to put our fresh herbs in. But this time of year, it's October, and the wifey, my sous chef shopper, she was able to find the oregano, but she wasn't able to find the fresh basil. So she got this crap. I don't know what it is, but there's basil in there, and I guess.
So what would you originally go with?
Fresh basil.
Fresh basil.
Yeah, fresh basil. I chopped it up just like that. But we'll use this basil just probably in some kind of olive oil or something. So we'll just use that. Not a big deal. You can use basil, dried basil flowers if you wanted. Stir that up, and then this is gonna marinate and simmer for another 30 minutes. So we'll go ahead and get the food processor out and get it ready for when we gotta put the sauce in it.
So what's this we doing right here?
This is the food processor. Use the blade, and when the sauce is marinated for another 30 minutes, simmered for another 30 minutes, then we'll put it in the food processor here and get it all to a certain consistency, more liquidy, more spaghetti saucy.
So why is this important to do?
Because you don't want to just have whole diced tomatoes for spaghetti sauce. You just break it all down. So that's ready. So we'll be back in 30 minutes.
In the meantime, we hydrate.
Sauce is marinated and cooked down a little bit, and just like I like it. So now we're going to take this over to the food processor. Should be able to fit all this into one. Gets pretty full though. Get all the goodies in there, the whole onions and garlic, oregano, basil, fire roasted diced tomatoes. And this goes here. And then you're going to go back down. You get it good, chopped up and broken down. You want a nice sauce. I don't want it too thick.
So you start it and stop it. Stop it and start it.
Yeah.
What's the importance of that stopping and starting?
Because it gets it all generated and mixed up from top to bottom. When you pulse it, the top will sink down to the bottom, and the bottom will come up to the top. So you make sure you get chopped up all your pieces that are in there.
So it seems like this is a critical part of it.
Yes. For the sauce.
Yes, sauce part, yeah.
Check it out. It's like I like it. So then I'm going to pour this back in. I have cut my finger really bad, but I didn't know what I was doing. I still don't know what I'm doing, but I kind of act like I do.
So that's the blade. Just got to be careful when you're pouring that in with the blade.
You don't want to take your finger off.
Gotcha.
So then you're going to take this back over to the stove, and I haven't put any salt or anything in it yet, so now we're all. You can use any salt you want, but I like to use the sea salt for this particular meal. So fine sea salt here. Doesn't really take much. So you got to be real careful not to over salt this, because you can always put more salt in, but you can never take the salt out. So I do this just a little at a time. Almost enough salt. I feel like I need this a little bit more.
Well, these do it to their satisfaction of what they want the salt to be.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Stir that back up. I need just a touch bit more. Be good. We go on to the different layers of lasagna. So next step is to start the lasagna. Mix this, get the pepperoni sauteed up, get the Italian sausage cooked up, get the ricotta cheese ready, get the mozzarella shredded and ready to go for the next step.
And in the meantime,
Drink beer, watch football. So now we got to shred the mozzarella the old school way because we can't find the proper food processor contraption tool. So we get the old shredder out. Obviously this is why I didn't want to do this, because this is work. It's like work at 8. And the mozzarella has been shredded and now ready to, when we get the lasagna sheets prepared, the pasta sheets, then it'll be ready to be on one of the layers. All right, now we got to prepare the pepperoni for pepperoni lasagna. So probably shouldn't use your good knife to do that, but I do. And by the way, it's really important to have a good knife. A really nice, sharp knife. They don't cost very much money, really. So we're going to open this package up, and then we're going to put pepperoni in the saute pan. And get them crisp up the grease, the fat that the pepperoni produces. So, just medium saute pan. Start putting the pepperonis in. I kind of get them broke up a little bit because they like to stick together.
like
they
friends.
don't take long to cook at all. They don't take long to crisp up. So, it'll be a pretty short process here. The pepperoni part of the lasagna is really spices up and makes the lasagna quite a bit more interesting and tasty. And I used to use just one pack of pepperoni, but then you soon realize pepperoni is what's really making your lasagna more than just a regular old lasagna. So I added more lasagna. More pepperoni to the lasagna because it's really what makes this lasagna stand out. Oops.
You want to say what's that to the people? You know? Yeah. Good job. All right.
Your pepperoni will stick together a lot, but then once it starts crisping up, it'll start breaking. They'll separate, so it's okay. As you can see, it does produce a lot of greasy fat when you cook the pepperoni. You get the crisp, like bacon. All right, we got these pepperonis crisped up pretty good, so we're just going to pour them off on the paper towel and drain them. Like so. So those are set, and I'm going to take the Italian sausage. I'm going to take it, and I usually just use the same saute pan that I did my pepperoni in, and kind of break it up before you put it in there, and get your cooked Italian sausage for one of your layers of the lasagna. I'm just cooking the Italian sausage, getting it browned up. And once we get that done, we'll set it aside and probably start to go ahead and cook our lasagna baking sheets or pasta, which we're going to cook for about 7 minutes, so they're just almost done. Because everything that you're going to put in the lasagna, you're still going to have to bake the lasagna, which is going to also cook your lasagna sheets, your pasta sheets even more. So you don't have to cook them all the way through before you actually build the lasagna. No salt or pepper or seasoning needed with the sausage, so you have to be sure to cook the sausage all the way through to where it's nice and good and brown. You can, like this color right here, that's the way I kind of like to get it. I mean, you didn't have to be all the way brown like that, but you did think you have to get rid of the pink that's in the sausage. Just like your breakfast sausage. Sausage is nice and brown, and it's also broke up. You don't want it in big clumps like that. You want it like ground beef, nice and broke up in there. So we can just turn this off and set it aside for now until we're ready to build the lasagna.
In the meantime,
we should drink beer and watch football. So now we're going to cook the lasagna sheets. So you can get a regular pot. I use this kind of deal that when it's done, I can just pick it up like that. So you're going to fill this up with water. You're going to put a little salt in it. Maybe a teaspoon. I just kind of play it by ear. Something like that. And we're going to put this on the boil. And like I said, we'll put the lasagna sheets in, cook them for about 7 minutes. We'll get them to where they're almost done, almost al dente. And they'll cook the rest of the way once we put the lasagna in the oven. So about 7 minutes. So we'll just let that boil.
there we had Jay.
when it comes to boil, get the boil, and we'll put the lasagna sheets in. When I find my beer, we will drink beer.
Right there.
When I find my beer again, we will continue to drink beer and watch football. Okay, so now we have to finally grate some Parmesan cheese. Once again, probably shouldn't use your good knife, but I do. All the professionals would say, don't do that. But I got a trick. I got one exactly like it. I got another one. Anyway, you get your Parmesan out. We got to do 3/4 cup of the Parmesan. I go over here to my grating station. So this is what I use, the side I use for the mozzarella, but for the Parmesan we use the fine grate side. And it's more of it's going to go on each layer of the lasagna, but just in sprinkles. The mozzarella is really the main cheese for the lasagna, but the Parmesan just adds a little bit more smoky type of flavor to the lasagna. Okay, our water's boiling, so we got to take a break from grating the Parmesan. We got to get our pound of lasagna pasta sheets here. Get it opened up. And put in the water that's almost boiling. Josh said it was boiling, but it's really not. We're waiting for the water to boil, and we can put our lasagna sheets in. We need to prepare an ice bath for when our 7 minutes are up on the lasagna. We got to take it and put it into the ice bath to get it to quit cooking, because you don't want your lasagna sheets to get all mushy. So you just get any kind of big bowl here. That's probably good. We gotta save ice for mixed drinks later. And fill it up with water. So we have water boiling now, so we can put our lasagna sheets in. Get them there, and it's okay to stand them up like that, and then they'll slowly get weak. You get them all down into the water. Now we got them down, submerged in the water. I've kind of got my timer on it for about 7 minutes. Then we'll get them over into the ice bath. That if you don't put them in the ice bath, then the pasta will continue to cook, and you'll get it overcooked, and it won't work well into your lasagna. The baking sheet's been in boiling for about 7 minutes, and I almost grabbed this without putting my protection on. Make sure you have protection. I'll do this a different way. Take this whole thing over here to the sink. And then pour my lasagna sheets into the ice bath to get them to quit cooking. Perfect. All right, those are cooled down. Get out a sheet pan, big sheet pan, and line it with paper towels. Like so. Put the paper towels down, just kind of get the chance for the lasagna pasta sheets to dry off a bit. And so these are, they're still kind of firm. They're not just like really soft like you would like cooked just spaghetti that you're going to eat immediately. And that's for the reason that we said earlier, is that we're going to build the lasagna in a baking dish, and then that all goes back in the oven for 45 minutes or so. And so these lasagna sheets are going to continue to cook that way. And I mean, they don't have to get real dry or anything like that. You just, you don't want them soaking wet or anything. So I'll start stacking them on top of one another. It'll be fine as well. Okay, so we have all our ingredients ready, and we got a 9x13 baking dish. It doesn't have to be that exact size. It could be a little smaller, a little bigger. Not that big of a deal. So to start, I tried to get all my ingredients in the same order that they go into building the lasagna. So you first start with putting some marinara sauce in the bottom of your pan, about a cup, and then just kind of smooth it around in the bottom. And then on top of this, we'll start placing our pasta sheets. Okay, so we got the marinara in for the first layer. Then you start layering your lasagna sheets. Pasta sheets, you can overlap them, just like so. And it doesn't have to be perfectly in there. And if you wanted to, you could move these to the center so they're not going to take up the whole baking dish, or you could bring them back here. If you like more pasta, you can do it any way you want. You can put the pieces that have broke off and layer them in like that. I like the pasta part of the lasagna a lot, so I like to put as much pasta as I can in there. And it doesn't have to look beautiful. It's going to be covered up anyway. So layered in there nice. Now we put in a third of the ricotta. And don't worry too much about spreading it out perfectly. Sometimes your pasta sheets will move around. You just kind of have to manipulate it. And you want your ricotta to be kind of room temperature, because it works a lot better. It smooths out a lot better the warmer it is. But you layer that out. One more scoop in here. So then for the next layer is a quarter of the mozzarella that we shredded. And I said, it doesn't have to be exactly a quarter of it. Just, eyeball it. Make sure you get a good coverage on your layer of the lasagna. Of course, the mozzarella seems to me to be one of the all-stars of the whole dish. Cheese, if you like cheese, I love cheese. Okay, you got the mozzarella layered on, and so the next layer is the quarter of the Italian sausage. So get that in, sprinkle that around. Like I said, it doesn't have to be exact quarter. It's just, that's a good estimate. You do want to have it, the same on each of your layers. So then the next layer, just layer that in. What really gives this lasagna dish its pop. It makes it very unique compared to other lasagna dishes that you may have had in the past. It's really what has attracted me to this recipe. So you get a nice layer of lasagna or of pepperoni in there, and then we're just going to dust this with a little bit of the Parmesan. Just like so. And then you just start the process over. You start with 1 cup of the marinara, right on top of the pepperoni and dusting of the Parmesan. Like I said, it says a cup, should be a cup, but you know, it can be your personal choice how much marinara you like. I like it a lot, so I may use this a little more than a cup. Spread it around. I like to use a rubber spatula. It makes it really easy to spread this stuff around. And it also makes it easy to have all your ingredients in line, like an assembly line. Like I have. That way you don't have to think about what comes next. You already know. Now comes the lasagna sheets. Go ahead and put these in the center. Then you should just have a little bit of everything left. And so for what I would call the finishing layer, you're going to want to put the mozzarella on top. And we're going to put this in the oven. Melt that cheese, get everything all melted in there nice and good. And then lastly, you're going to sprinkle dusting with the Parmesan. Lasagna's built and it's ready to go in the oven. I've already preheated the oven to 375 degrees. I'm going to put this in for about 45 minutes until the cheese gets really bubbly. And if just so happens that the cheese starts browning too much, I can put some foil over it if needed. It's been in the oven for about 45 minutes at 375.
We're gonna get past you before you put it on.
It's bubbling up a little bit. You're gonna have to let this cool down a little bit. This is the finished process. We'll let it cool down for about 10 minutes and then we'll cut it in pieces. And of course, it's always good to have your garlic toast with your Italian. A little garlic butter on there that will be another show. In order to make the garlic butter, it makes all garlic toast way better. So there's the finished product. Bon appetit. So we've let it cool down, and so I'm just going to cut it into good servings.
Tell him about the knife.
This is the chef's knife, the Mac knife.